Atn Politics is the network's flagship program that discusses core political trends with relevant political stakeholders. And today on Atn Politics, we'll be discussing core issues from different political landscapes, such as in Edo State, Oshomole absolves APC of PDP crisis. Youths endorse article to oust Tinubu in 2027. NNPP says Kwankwaso is its 2024 presidential candidate. And Zenith Labour Party urges Tinubu to slash salaries of elected officials. Before I invite our guests and introduce our guests on stage, we are going to go for this very short break. Don't move a muscle. Stay tuned.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today. Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's to blood.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Good to have you back on ATN Politics. I remain your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, and my guest today on ATN Politics is a political analyst of no mean repute, internationally known, a stakeholder so far as the political sphere of our dear country, Nigeria, is in discussions, and we are here to pick his brains on the various topics that we have to discuss about today. I'm talking of no other than Atn Politics. It's a pleasure having you on this platform, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm profoundly grateful
It's a pleasure, sir.
for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you.
All right, time to go and dive into the first issue for discussion. Edo North Senator Adams Oshomole has distanced the All Progressive Congress from the crisis surrounding the People's Democratic Party primary elections in the state. Oshomole said that the law does not allow APC to interfere in PDP's primary elections conflict. The Abuja Federal High Court had nullified the primary elections conducted by the PDP that produced Asue Ighodalo as its governorship candidate in Edo State. In the Nigerian sense of it, politically, that APC is devoid of having federal might in this case.
Okay, so there's nothing you can exclude when you look at the Nigerian political landscape. Nigerian politicians have stretched, our imaginations very far beyond what you can even contemplate, because there are times when they are given to doing certain things that if you thoroughly extrade, you'll be wondering if these are things that should be done for the sake of power. So I would say very directly to you that there is no way you can, extricate. There's no way you can. Okay. Then you would even find in the APC. Okay. Because, for instance, Yosom Wike, and I had said this, was heavily very disappointed in what had become of the relationship that he had with the current governor of one who is actually trying to pull the carpet off the feet of the current governor. That's one. Two, you had seen what the current governor did with regards to the South-South PDP leader, of having to get to his constituency, take him out. And you do not expect that these big wigs, quote and unquote, in PDP, were just going to allow a newcomer who came into the party yesterday, to start demolishing them. And there is also the third factor of the deputy governor who had left also. So you would see that there are a lot of forces, very strong forces, forces within, forces without, that are currently fighting the governor and his candidates, in Edo State. Okay. And I had predicted that these fights would be such that it would eventually throw up a candidate that is not even in the PDP and the APC to becoming the governor of Edo State. If you would notice, there had never been anything like federal might when it comes to elections in Edo State. There was once upon a time when Osumbo was there as a governor. Yeah. You saw how that, in spite of the fact that it was a PDP that was in position of authority, the court gave judgment in favor of an Adams Oshomole. Yes. You know, you went on to see how that Adams Oshomole wanted to contest his second term, and it was still a PDP that was in government. You would have thought that, oh, with all of the federal might, they would have dealt with Adams Oshomole. He also became a governor. There was a PDP. And when an APC, watch out for. Okay,
so being a political watcher of the terrain that's, of what is unfolding in Edo State right now, what advice do you think you can give to the PDP going into the elections? Because it doesn't seem as if they will have a candidate in the coming elections. What do you think? Are they going to go to court? Or what would be, are they going to go the way of APC back in the days in Rivers State when they didn't have any?
It must be said very quickly, if they must win this election, the current governor must eat the humble pie. Right? It must be willing to go above and beyond, you know, to see how he can build bridges and call the people who are the stakeholders. You see, politics in Nigeria is not, or the democracy in Nigeria is not essentially about the wishes of the people, of the majority. It's the wishes of the stakeholders that you see coming to bear. That's why you would find that politicians during elections are not very interested in canvassing, you know, around very important matters. They rather would move to Niger State to go and say a certain strong man. Yeah. They move to Ogun State to go and say a certain strong man. Move round, because they understand that in order for them to become in the Nigerian political, you know, firmament, there are certain individuals that must give favor to their
APC, to, like, as we say in Nigeria.
We also want to see what this person has got to offer. I understand that in Nigeria, the godfathers can make even, and pardon my use of this word, can make even, and I would use it, an animal become anything in Nigeria. The godfathers can. If they thought that an animal would better serve their interest, and they made that animal a governor, they made that animal a president, they made that animal, whatever it was that they wanted to make that animal. This is the reality in Nigeria. And the earlier we come to accept it, the better. As much as we know that this is the reality, it's also important for us to understand that it's harder to get an animal to become a governor as against getting somebody who is human. Let me put it in context. It's harder to get somebody who does not have all of the askings of a good politician as against getting somebody who understands politics the Nigerian way. So if you ask me, I would think that this is going to even swing in the favor of, you know, other political parties like the Labour Party. You know, there are other political parties in Edo State that are looking like, should the PDP not be on the ballot, given what is happening right now, they may just be able to take the day away from the APC.
Oh, so that is power to the stakeholders.
Absolutely. Myself, the father, the Baba, sits down and says, this is how I want it to be. Go to Lagos State, go to Delta State. In Delta State, did not go to Deltans to say, oh, thank you for giving me a vote. They went to the prison where Ibori was in the UK. They went to say thank you to him that he had helped them to win election. That speaks volume. And Nigerians do not understand what that meant. That a man who was in prison, it's not the first time a man in prison has been winning election. In Nigeria, in the West, we have seen people in prison. For instance, in Osun State, we have seen people in prison winning election. Right? It speaks to the fact that, so Ken, you will become the next governor. It didn't matter what Atn Politics thought. It didn't matter what the entire population that are voting in Rivers State, what they thought. Ken will become the governor of Rivers State. Twale, like we say in this thing. However, would the current governor have been able to win his local government election? By my reckoning, Atn Politics would say no. But a certain man stood firm in 6 different places and said, this is the one that would be. And guess what? When the day came for the votes to be counted, he emerged against the political big wigs, for instance, who were in the ballot also. The likes of the Magnus Abbey, the likes of the Toyeko, who were contesting. Guess what happened? It seemed as though this person, albeit insignificant as he was then, became bigger than the ones who you thought were more significant. Across the length and breadth of Nigeria, this is the same fate that you will see from the north to the south. Look at Kano State. Rabbi Musa Kwankwaso just simply said, this is what I want. Against what Gandu J even wanted. He anointed a candidate and he became a governor. Look, in Kogi State, go and see what happened in Kogi State. As a matter of fact, I joked or I said there are states in Nigeria that have one governor, and there are states in Nigeria that have two governors. Two governors who are in government house.
Incoming governor, and it succeeds. And you now have a situation where would the stakeholders allow that?
So we need to disrupt that process. See what's happening in Kenya, for instance. The current president did not only step down on the very anachronistic and wicked bill, he is also doing a lot to follow through. Billion naira was expended. The Senate, National House of Assembly, they were unable to question her. They tried to question her and she said, if we ever try to show you the data, it will be infringement of the rights of the people. And they kept quiet. There was a National Assembly. There are media people. There are civil society people. There is ICPC. We are going to pursue this case and set up God judgment, only last week. That judgment, I have even said that, if the president is not interested in it, who is going to enforce that judgment? Who is going to? So, until Nigerians are ready to take their country back, there's no way we can have these changes. Is it elections you are seeing happening? Do you?
United Kingdom has almost 800, 900 year history. You get the point? And they have passed through even where we were. They have also been there.
Yes.
And we are at the stage we are now because this is where we are.
Yes.
And we are having a multi-ethnic society.
Yes.
That is so tribalistic.
Yes.
Everything has to be done according to federal character. We have not yet agreed that we are one Nigeria. What is the way forward, sir?
Adam and Eve. We should just simply learn from them and have their lessons as our edge to put us, ahead of them. Because the things that they did in the 18th century, we saw how they did them and the failings of those things. Why do we need to go back to those? Why don't we just simply come to 2024 Britain and pick exactly how they are succeeding, come and interpose it in our space and own it?
One of the anomalies in our political terrain is power to the stakeholders and not to the people. Can we do anything about that? That's food for thought. Don't move an inch. We're coming back just right after this message.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why?
but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no day. Light outside. The infrastructure it can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this of
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes, we saw a copy of your invoice for computers. ₦1,000.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
their behavior not good now.
Madam, this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Atn Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is
Atn Politics today. Every day, our lives are changed by history.
we are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
It's a pleasure welcoming you back to ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network right here in the big business city of Port Harcourt. I am with a political analyst par excellence, Andy Apotive. Thank you very much for your thoughts. We are still going to pick more from you.
Thank you.
Before the end of the show. And viewers, don't forget, we are still on Star. And we are still on YouTube. We are still on our website. Go to the next topic for discussions. Nigerian Youth for Atiku NYFA has endorsed former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as the ideal candidate for the 2027 presidential elections. The group asserted that Atiku is the NYFA, emphasized Atiku's potential to transform the nation. Yes, sir. The personality of Atiku Abubakar, I first of all have my doubts if...
I'm going to be very direct with answering this question. First off, Atiku is not a small portal to be able to produce results. Okay. We saw what happened in the last election, right? Atiku is one who, even from his days in GDM, right, the days when he was with, you know, the Yaradua, strong challenger even to MK Abiola, if his political godfathers had not, you know, pressured him to step down for, you know, as the vice president. He had won his election in Adamawa State and the mission that he had, and he picked an Atiku Abubakar. You saw how that in the first term, Atiku was in charge, literally in charge of, you know, the government of Olusegun Obasanjo until, you know, they fell apart for a long time. However, my challenge is, why are the youths gathering for Atiku Abubakar? Why? Is this a vote of no confidence on themselves as youth? Why is it that we want to keep recycling these people, these old policies, like we did with President Muhammadu Buhari?
Exactly.
Buhari is the Messiah. If you got the Buhari into power, he will transform, he will reform, he will inform. Now, we are doing the same thing, and this is me calling this youth. So when you keep deifying these men, you cannot look inwards and are, you know, ready to fold their sleeves and make Nigeria work again. Can you not find them amongst you people? The Dare, Dada, and the Co. Can you not find them amongst you people? Can you not find these youths who can be there? Go around the world and see the people changing the world today from France. And we saw how a young man is changing the world there. What is the problem with all of you that call yourselves youth in this country? Exactly, please look at me in the eyes. What color of problem? What's the color of you people's problem? You keep bringing these old men, and I will get old. There's nothing wrong with being old, right? But these people are tired. What do you think a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can do now at this age? All of you, we didn't even see daylight until Bola Tinubu came. It's the daylight people are seeing now. The man is old and tired. The illustration I usually give to people is, it didn't matter how fantastic a surgeon is. Okay. It didn't matter how experienced a surgeon is. When he's old and tired, there are certain surgeries he won't be able to do.
Exactly.
At best, it will just be providing, you know, it is. If he's old and he's having challenges with his sight, you can no longer have him sit in the cockpit now. If we cannot do that with one patient in the theater, in the case of a surgeon, and with how many passengers in the airline, in the case of the pilot, why do you very elderly people contesting to be the president of America? And I'm like, are you people even all right? The systems in America are... Look at the revolution by Oko Noblo, you know, during the interview he did with Shehu Okinbaloye.
Exactly.
That he had seen some monies, heavy monies that certain people had stolen. They were waiting for instruction from Attorney General. They were waiting for instruction from President. You have weak institutions. You want to put a man who is tired, a man who is physiologically weak, a man who is completely weak. You want to put him to superintend over a weak system so that they can understand that there are individuals that are used in this country. There are people who have love for country in this country that they can start clamoring for. Until such a time comes, if we think that is recycling these old people that will save us, then we are just deceiving ourselves.
Oh, I get you. But let's look into this. So as its presidential candidate in the 2027 election, this announcement was made by the party's chairman in Kano State, Ashimu Dungwawa, during an interactive section with journalists in Kano. Ngawa expressed his confidence in Kwakwanso's ability to win the presidency, stating that he is the only person challenged. We are seeing a situation where the Labour Party has also told this same part, endorsing Peter Obi as his presidential candidate concerning Atiku Abubakar. Is this not against the law for the parties to choose a presidential candidate even before the primaries? Or has they instituted a policy of should I say, a policy of, do we say that it's already been sealed and done even before, I mean, due process is followed? Is this right? Is this legal?
There are many things in this country that are against the law that even government is supporting. Let me give you a typical example before I jump in on answering the question. It is forced to it by this, what's it called? Nigerians are going on, carrying on as if it's legal. Before I got here now, I needed cash. I went there, I paid them money. Oh, for you to get this is amount ago. I said, do you know this is wrong? Both me and all of you should be arrested. For me to buy this money with money, you to sell this money with money. The CBA should be arrested. The CBN person who gave that order. You see the illegalities that you see in our country. It's a country of illegalities. But the one that is taken to be illegal is the one that the bourgeoisies, the big men consider illegal. Not the one that the law considers illegal in elections. Rabbi Musa Kwankwasa has got the traction, to be able to deliver, particularly in Kano State and in certain parts.
Can I jump in?
Yes, please.
Between Peter Obi, Rabbi Musa Kwankwaso, and Atiku Abubakar, which of them do you think has the pedigree to take Bola Ahmed Tinubu out of the 2027 if they get to a fair fight?
So I like the way you have asked this question. You have spoken about fair fight. And I want to, without equivocation, say that you would not have a fair fight in 2027.
Okay.
We are going to be having to think that you will have a fair fight. The current president, understands politics, understands the stakeholders that he must say, hey, come. He understands. See what he has done to PDP now. Yeah. Is PDP an opposition today? They are romancing the APC. He has literally castrated the PDP. So you think that there will be fair fight? The law enforcement agency, they are still going to be at his beck and call. Yeah. So until this process is disrupted, and the Akbotibe is saying it, 2027 will not be any different, except we are disrupting the process as a people and asking for the change that can bring free, fair, credible election in this country, or the terrestrial and the celestial clap in our favor. One of those two. They were there longer than the Bible had said they should remain in captivity. But it took a Moses, in spite of the fact that the celestial and the terrestrial were in favor of them to come out of captivity. It took a Moses to start a movement. It took a Moses to push the people before they began gathering momentum, before he had encounters that helped to build his character, that helped to build his confidence before he approached the Pharaoh. If a Moses did not do that, the terrestrial clap to the celestial was in sync with what history books, what the prophets of all times had said about the people of Israel. But they did not come out until Moses came out. So I'm saying, if you want to wait, a coalition is about to happen. Like I hear some people say, coalition, the coalition is going to bring a Peter. But for two, all my political predictions came to pass. I'm saying, you will just wake up 2027 with all of your a coalition is happening, and you will still have the President Bola Tinubu as your president. The earlier
Motive, I tell you that it's